why am I doing this? Why am I so focused on food and diet and exercise and health and living a life of fun and love and adventure? Well, I am going to spend this video explaining my why. So back in 2020, you all remember 2020, the world was falling apart, COVID and all of that. Well, I had a few extra things thrown my way. I was diagnosed with severe Crohn's disease. In fact, my GI doctor, who's been practicing for 30 years, he said it's the worst case of Crohn's he has ever seen. And then referred me to the Mayo Clinic, and that GI specialist at the Mayo Clinic, who is their specialist, told me it was in his top 5 cases. So let's just say it was bad. And that was a lot to deal with. I have been healthy my entire life. I've always exercised. I've eaten a relatively well-balanced diet. I've never actually had a weight problem, despite having 5 children. So it kind of rocked my world a little bit. I didn't expect it. And so I was dealing with all of that and being told this is a lifelong disease and you're going to be on these medications that are immunosuppressants and you're going to be on them forever. Oh, and by the way, they cost about $20,000 a month for these medications. So just a lot was going on. And then a couple of months later, I was diagnosed with a malignant melanoma on my face. Yes, not only was it skin cancer, it's the kind that kills you, melanoma. And it was already invasive, which means it had already started to go into my system. So that was another whammy that I took in 2020. I subsequently had to have 7 surgeries on my face to rebuild it. I still will forever be grateful to my plastic surgeon who did an incredible job, but it was a process. It took 18 months plus to get it all done. And he used parts from all over my body, my ear, my scalp, my groin, everything to rebuild my face. So that was a lot in 2020. And once I had a moment to sort of sit back and say, what is going on? What is wrong with me or my body? Or what am I doing wrong? And at first, my answer was like most people, nothing. I'm doing everything right. I'm in good shape. I eat well. Nothing I can do. It is just shit bad luck. But then I started to think a little bit more about it, and I started to do research. And I am an attorney, and research is one of my strengths. And I dug in, and I dug in more and more and more. And it turns out that we actually can control a lot of what goes on in our bodies with diet and exercise and meditation. And at first I was not a believer of it. I was reading it thinking, whatever, these are the people on the fringe. They don't really know what they're talking about. I am a scientist actually at heart, and I have tons of physicians in my family. So it was all very foreign to me. But something in my gut told me there's more to this. And the more research I did, the more I realized that, yes, we are all given our genetic code at conception, but actually we can determine the expression of that code with what's called epigenetics. But basically, that's a fancy word for saying what you put into your body, the environment of your genes, can be expressed depending on what you do with it. And so I made a decision. I am going to control my health. I am not going to let my health control me. And everything shifted. I completely changed my diet to what is often called a flexitarian diet. It's largely vegetable-based, but there is some animal proteins and things like that. And I'm actually going to do another video about that later. I started exercising differently, more consistently, more focused, and maybe the biggest improvement I did was to take up meditation. And that was really, really, really hard for someone like me who is very much a type A personality. But I was determined. And so I have now been able to go off all medications, including my asthma medication that I used to take. I have had no recurrence of cancer, thankfully, and I feel better than I have felt in 25 years. And I'm not kidding. And I'm in better shape, and my mind is at peace, and I have a wonderful, healthy, loving life. So why do I do this? I do this primarily for myself because I want to live a long, healthy life. But I go out here on YouTube for you, because if I can even help one of you live a healthier and happier life, then it's all worth it. Putting in all of this effort that I do for this, that is why I do it. So that is my why. And what I recommend to you is, if you are trying to get a little bit healthier and live a little bit of a happier life, first, you need to understand your why. Why do you want to do it? And once you know that, it becomes easy. My name is Heather. Thank you for tuning in to the Spicy Apron. I will see you next time.